Welcome to Good News Now, a weekly message of love and hope. As we remember the meal that had the disciples gathered in that upper room one night, we remember the meals that have meant so much to us over the years. There are no doubt unforgettable times that live in our memories. The delight we feel at the gathering of friends and loved ones is one of the most basic human experiences. Psalm 36 describes God's love as the presence of a feast of bounty and drinking from streams of delight. On the table that night in the upper room were the basics of every meal, bread and wine. In typical Jesus style, he used these common elements to speak of God's kingdom of love and light that would shine through his body broken and his love poured out for them very, very soon. He invited them to remember that moment whenever they gathered around tables after he had gone. Just as we retell stories around the table of loved ones now gone and the things that they said, Jesus was leaving them a memory, a moment that could last for eternity. And so we remember together. As we have journeyed this Lent, learning more about our faith connection to the practices of awe, we have learned that awe is not just about pleasure or happiness. Awe is found in the most selfless acts of giving we witness. We look upon sacrificial acts of Jesus Christ for the sake of love as inspiration for our own contributions to the wellness of the world and all its inhabitants. This faith story of Jesus' sacrifice on the cross is one of the most profound examples of self-giving that we know. I invite you to simply dwell with awe in the scriptural account of the final events of Holy Week and Easter morning. As you listen to the readings, imagine the scenes in your mind's eye. Imagine the way it must have felt to be there. Your imagination doesn't need to go far. We've all felt loss. We've all felt disappointment. We've all felt horror at times in our lives. And we have all felt the glory of God's hand in our lives, a glory that shone brightest on that first Easter morning. In remembering this story, we remember that we are not alone in whatever we may be facing today. If you consider yourself a Christmas Eve and Easter churchgoer, you might be interested to know that Easter isn't just one day. It's a week of weeks, and so we will celebrate Easter until the day of Pentecost, which is another 7 weeks. I want to invite you to think about traveling on this journey into new life with Jesus Christ each and every day. It takes a bit more than one day to accomplish it. We might not consider Easter the beginning of a new year, but in many ways, it is a symbolic moment to consider starting with a clean slate. What would you like to move forward away from into a new lease on life? If you could leave something behind, what would it be? We aren't going to answer that question right now, but I just want to invite you to consider it this week. Resurrection is not just a story about Jesus. It is a rejuvenation that can happen within us anytime. So rejoice. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Amen.